Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and to fresh new episode of Placement Series. In this, I'm going to discuss about DevOps, cloud computing, and all the facts about it. Come on, guys, let's start this video and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe my videos.
Hey Suraj, welcome to my YouTube channel.
Hey, hi Malden.
So Suraj, let's now explore what is DevOps and let's now understand all the facts about cloud computing.
Yeah, sure, Malden.
So my first question is what is DevOps or what is cloud computing and how is it important with respect to placements?
Okay, before we begin, myself Suraj, I'm working as a DevOps engineer in EY. I'm having almost an year of experience in the field of DevOps. Okay, talking about DevOps and cloud. Cloud and DevOps are completely different domains. They are not related. What is DevOps? DevOps is a process of simplifying, building, testing, and deploying in the live environment. Building in the sense building of an application or providing any service, whatever. Like whatever we build in the development environment, we should provide it in the production environment or whatever, or a live environment. So this is DevOps. What DevOps engineer do? DevOps engineer is involved in all this process and is responsible for all the simplification of this process. And talking about cloud, what is cloud? Cloud is this live environment where we host the application, servers, database, or etc. Talking about cloud engineer is responsible for all these cloud operations. Talking about cloud and on-premise infrastructure. What is on-premise? On-premise is like having all the servers, databases, everything within the company. And cloud is renting all those infrastructure from the service providers. For example, cloud providers like Amazon Web Services that we call as AWS or Google or Microsoft Azure. Popular one is like Microsoft Azure and AWS. Most of the startup companies and large companies use AWS as a cloud provider because they are providing most of the services and feature for very less cost, like when compared to other cloud providers.
Okay, what are the various roles offered in cloud and DevOps domain and what does each role mean?
Yeah. First of all, the cloud and DevOps come under a domain called as infrastructure or a field called as infrastructure. Infrastructure is where all the company servers or database, whatever I mentioned previously, those and all come under infrastructure part. Under infrastructure, there will be two domains, that is cloud and DevOps. So now talking about the different roles. Under DevOps, the roles are DevOps engineer one that is provided for a fresher, and after that it will be DevOps engineer two and senior level. Under cloud, there are two domains. One is developer and one is the cloud engineer. A developer in the sense is similar to the application developer on which is working with the cloud environment, and cloud engineer is like maintaining those cloud infrastructures. So these are the two different domain and roles which come under cloud and DevOps. Now, what does each role mean? See, as a fresher, when you join a company, you will be provided the cloud engineer one role or a DevOps engineer one role. Like that is the basic role that will be provided in the company for a fresher who joins as intern or as a full time. Talking about DevOps engineer's main responsibility is to automate the things. Automate the things in the sense like building of application and deploying it in the live environment. Building things will be done by the development team or the software developers, and further the process whatever we have to deploy till the production, no, that will be taken care by the DevOps engineer. The main thing here the DevOps engineer should be aware of is the different tools that is used by the company. For example, the company may be using Jenkins or Docker or Kubernetes. These are the different tools that we talk later on this video, but used by the DevOps engineer or a company. So the engineer should be aware of these tools, and this will help a lot in simplifying his work. So talking about cloud engineer should be responsible of deploying the application in the cloud environment. Like that is slightly related with the DevOps engineer, but he's mainly working on the cloud components, and he should be aware of all the services provided by the cloud.
Okay, is coding required for DevOps or cloud computing roles?
Yeah, as a software engineer, whether you're cloud ops, DevOps, or developer, the coding knowledge is very important. Talking from the DevOps perspective, like more than writing a code, understanding the code is important because the developer will be writing application in any language code, and DevOps has to deploy it in the environment. So before deploying, like while he face any issues or errors while deploying or while performing his role, he should be aware of the application. To know how the application works, he should be knowing the code as well, like on which code it is written and how it works. So I would say coding knowledge, like deep coding knowledge, is not required, but he should have the capability to understand the code. Like if someone provides you the snippet of code, like you should be able to understand and analyze the code, like how it works. That is very important for the DevOps engineer and as well as cloud. Okay, then talking about the scripting languages. Here, the DevOps engineer role will be automating things. Automating in the sense you'll be writing some scripts to automate the pipelines or deployment or whatever. Like you'll be alerting some team channels or something like that. As a fresher, when you join, no, like you will be very confused about these terms, but I will explain this later in this video. What are these terms mean? Two main scripting languages, Bash and Python, that mainly I prefer, and most of the companies and freshers prefer. So these are very important. So having the basic and not only basic, intermediate level knowledge of Python and Bash scripting helps a lot in DevOps engineer as well as the cloud engineer. Even in the cloud field, he has to write some script to automate the things, like whatever, like day to day functions. If you need to simplify it, you need to write some script. For that, the scripting languages is very important.
Okay. What are the various skills required for above mentioned roles?
Talking about different skills, as I mentioned previously in the videos, there are some terminologies called CI/CD. What is CI/CD? CI/CD is continuous integration or continuous development or deployment, maybe. See, or whenever you are a student or an intern, whatever the project is assigned to you, you'll start writing code in your local machine or a laptop, and you'll start executing it. When you get the output, you will show it to a project evaluator or professor, whatever. But in the corporate world, it is not the process. At once they won't write complete code of the application. They will do it as a part by part or a step by step. First, they will build a small part of application. They will deploy it to the live environment. Again, they will test it, and the process is a continuous, like it is a cycle kind of thing. So again, they have to add some more features to that code. They will develop and they will test. Again, they will deploy. So this is called as continuous integration and continuous deployment. So at this point, the DevOps engineer plays a main role. He has to simplify all this process. So as a fresher, when you join as a DevOps engineer or a cloud engineer, you should be aware of some of the basic tools that are used by DevOps. For example, Docker, Kubernetes, and Jenkins, GoCD. These are all different CI/CD tools and other tools that is basic requirement for the fresher. So I would suggest all the interns or freshers who are applying for the DevOps role should have the basic knowledge of these components and tools and should be ready with the questions, whatever the questions they will ask related to these tools in the interview.
Okay. What are the famous resources to study for the above mentioned roles?
Okay, talking about the resources, um, as I'm a DevOps engineer, I'm currently, like, my company is currently using AWS, that is one of the cloud provider. So having the basic AWS certification is very much preferred for this role, or whatever. Like if you are interested in Azure, that can be done, or Google Cloud, that is also fine. But when talking about AWS, there is a certification called AWS Solution Architect. That is the examination conducted by the AWS itself. The certificate also will be provided by AWS. For this, the resources is available on YouTube, of course, Coursera, Udemy, whatever. But I would prefer the Udemy course for this course. Like once you take this course, you will have all the basic services. Like you have the idea of all the basic services provided by the AWS and how it works. What are the cycle, like what are the different components that we use in AWS. Every basic things will be covered in this course, and this is very much helpful in applying the certificate. So once you get the certificate, it is very easy to get in as a fresher for DevOps role or cloud role. Like mostly cloud role, yeah, DevOps also. So this certificate will help. Why I prefer this Udemy course for the AWS certification is the mentor is very well experienced in training the fresher for this exam, and also whatever the topics that is required for this examination is completely covered under this course. And talking about this, cost of the course is around 10,000 to 12,000, and there are no restriction or or the limit for the attempts. Like any number of attempts can be made for this exam until you obtain this certification. So before that, I would suggest you to take the course seriously and practice well for that exam, so that it won't be very difficult for you guys, and you can get the certification easily. Why I prefer this Udemy course is the mentor is very much experienced in training the fresher for this course, and he covers most of the topics required for this examination. So, talking about the points that you need to score in this examination will be conducted for 1,000 marks or 1,000 points, and you need to score more than 750 on this. So, I would suggest you to prepare well for this exam by taking the different courses, not only Udemy, like if you're comfortable with any other platform or any YouTube channels, you can take the course from that and you can prepare well for that. And the course doesn't cost you, that is dependent on the Udemy or the platform issue, depending on that fees. Or if you are preferring for YouTube channels, the course will be completely free and you can learn via that. And the examination fees will be around 10,000 to 12,000. And to take the examination, you have to pay that fees every time. Like there is no limit on the examination attempt, so you can make any number of attempts to clear that examination. So since the course fees is a bit high for a fresher or anyone who is taking the examination, I would suggest you to prepare well before attempting it so that you can clear it in the first attempt. One more certification is Python PCAP certification. There are three levels for the fresher. You need to take the level one examination. For that also, I would prefer the Udemy course itself or the YouTube is also fine. Here, the most of the basic Python topics are covered in this examination, so you can take the course from the different platforms like Coursera or Udemy and prepare well for that examination also. This is important because, as I mentioned before, Python is very much important, like Python or any other scripting language. But personally, I prefer Python because it is many inbuilt libraries modules, so it will be very easy for you to automate the task. So as you join as a fresher, they will look for the skills like Python or Bash. To have that Python PCAP certification will help us a lot for fresher to secure a good job in the companies.
Okay. Are there any particular projects for the above mentioned roles?
Yeah, there are no as such like there are no projects required particularly for DevOps or Cloud Ops, but having a certification in cloud field will help us a lot in securing good job. And talking about project, any project like if you are making any simple application, try to deploy it on the cloud. So it will be a cloud related project, and also try to learn about pipelines and those things like which are mostly used in corporate field. So try to learn about that and try to implement in the projects. So it will be like it should help the fresher to showcase their skills on the in Python also. Like if you're doing any application project like related to Python, try to deploy it in the cloud. So that time it will cover all the Python and cloud topics. So it will help us a lot for a fresher to secure a good job. Then showcase their skills for the interviewers. And also talking about other projects, like you can just simply build a cloud server which consumes the data from one pipeline and receives it like sends it to somewhere else, or any such kind of project will help us a lot. And one more thing is having the basic idea of networking, like networking in the sense it can be a cloud networking or it can be on-premises networking. Having a very basic, not too deep, but a very basic knowledge of networking, because that is also included under infrastructure. Because under infrastructure, other than cloud and DevOps, there will be a network engineer, security engineer, and other things. So you need to coordinate with them in the corporate field. So having the basic knowledge of networking also will help us a lot in getting these cloud and DevOps jobs.
Okay, Suraj. Do you want to summarize about cloud and DevOps in general?
Yeah, for a fresher like who has no idea of this, what is DevOps or what is cloud ops, I would suggest you to like start searching in Google about the different tools, like as I mentioned before, that are used by the DevOps, and start learning one by one. And also for the study materials for this are Edureka YouTube channel and also the official documentations of those tools. For example, I will take a tool called Docker. Most of you guys are not aware of this, but just Google it about the Docker. And you're studying about Docker, just refer to their official documentation. So it will help us a lot to understand more on these tools, and you can start from that. And parallelly, you can start for these examinations or try to open any of the cloud certification or the Python certification. You can do that parallelly because like most of the companies are looking for a freshers in this DevOps and cloud ops role, and those will be visiting your campus placements also. At that time, if you have this all the skills required for the cloud and DevOps related roles, it would be very easy and there will be very less competition for this until you have a very good skill. So this won't take much efforts, but if you're starting from the scratch, definitely it will take some efforts of you and some time to learn on this. But most of you, like if you're feeling this is a very difficult, and you might heard that securing a job as a fresher in DevOps and cloud ops is difficult, and the roles and domains they're working will be very complicated. Nothing like that. It's very simple. Like if you start from the scratch, and if you're having any like already if you're having some ideas about this networking and API gateways, like whatever, you can start from there also. So like having the clear cut knowledge on this will help us a lot in cracking the interviews and also in the campus placements.
Okay. Thank you, Suraj, for coming to my YouTube channel and sharing your insights about DevOps and cloud related domains.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. Thank you for inviting me to your channel. Like in case of any queries you guys have, My contact details will be in the description. Please feel free to contact me. And also the information regarding to the course and study materials that will be provided in the description. Please go through that and prepare well for your placements. All the best.
Thank you, Suraj. Bye.